Hello and welcome to another daily devotion as we cover the topic, life is tricky, God sticks with us. Well, so we're trying to figure out what all that means. The angel of the Lord says to Philip, "Hey, psst, Philip, I need you to take the road from Jerusalem to Gaza, the desert road." Philip's like, okay. Walks down the road, and as he's going down the road a piece, as I like to say, down south, out yonder, he finds a member of the Queen of Ethiopia's court, a eunuch. How do you know he was a eunuch? I don't know. I don't know if he shared that information or what. But what we do know is that it says he is a eunuch. We'll talk about what that is in a second for those of you who aren't up on your eunuch terminology. And he's reading in his chariot a scroll of the prophet Isaiah. He's just come from worshiping God in Jerusalem. And Philip comes upon him and says, "Do you know what you're reading?" And he says, "How can I unless somebody explains it to me?" A lot of us feel that way about reading the Bible, don't we? Anyway, Philip says, "I'll explain it to you." And he tells him this famous text that is quoted in Acts chapter 8 is from Isaiah. "By his stripes we are healed, a lamb sent to slaughter." You've heard these texts before in various Christian capacities. But what you may not know, the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, is that when this eunuch, and a eunuch is a person whose testicles have been taken off because he's serving the queen, and you don't want anybody who's feeling frisky, if you will, who's not the king, messing with the queen. So he's been neutered. Yes, you get the picture. Anyway, what that means is when he's gone to worship God at the temple, there's a sign. You can still read it today, fragments of it. It still exists on the Temple Mount there, even though the temple's gone. It says, "No foreigner, no person who's got a defect, and no Gentile can enter this court under penalty of death." So I'm sure the Ethiopian eunuch, in all his excitement to worship God, sees this great temple, sees people going in, and at the door the bouncer says, "Sorry, you can pray out here, but you can't come in there." And he rides off. He's got a souvenir scroll. He's trying to get closer to this God who people have said, you can worship this God, but, in the back seats. And I wonder, I think I know the answer, if Philip kept reading that scroll of Isaiah. He's unrolling it, because here's what it says a little bit later after the text that's quoted. "Don't let the eunuchs say, 'Surely the Lord will exclude me from my people,' or complain, 'I'm only a dry tree,'" a reference to not being virile and being able to have children. He says, "Let the eunuchs," gosh, I didn't know so many people were talking about people like me, he says, probably, "who keep my Sabbath, who choose to please me and hold fast to my covenants. I will give you a name, everlasting, greater than any sons or daughters you can't have. I will give within my temple," what did I just say? He couldn't go in the temple. "Within my temple and its walls a memorial and a name. To those such as him I will bring to my holy mountain and give them joy in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar," something he could never do under any human rules. But the prophet Isaiah, from whom he's reading, is saying, buddy, you've got a place. People might say you're not a man anymore. You might not fit into any identities of gender, and no boxes to check here. Not that that was such a huge thing back then. But to all those who might be struggling with who they are today, God says, I got a place for you. And don't let all these rules outside the temple walls that people have made tell you you don't have a place if you seek me. What an amazingly expansive view of the kingdom of God, beyond which people could see, perhaps in the eunuch's own court. And it's no surprise to me then when Philip tells him this stuff, reads it from the prophet Isaiah. This eunuch says, my God, can I be baptized right now? There's some water over there. Can you do it? Philip says, hey, sure. Let's get this on. Come on. baptizes him right there and then. The joy of this man who's been told he doesn't fit in. He doesn't have a place marker because he can't have children. He's not a man's man. He doesn't have any signs of being a man at all anymore. It's been literally cut off of him. And God says, now you got a place, a home. It never left you. You'll always be one of my children. What a powerful message to those who feel they have no place that will accept them for the circumstance or the place in life they are. Maybe that's you today. Food for thought, and something that the Ethiopian eunuch and anybody who's ever felt like there was a sign at the wall saying, you're okay who you are, you can stay out there, but you can't come in.